Yeah, my mic was muted. Oh man. Hey everybody. I didn't realize my mic was muted. Um, it is. I got you, ADD. It is July 30th, 2020, and it's been an interesting day. I see there's some people already populating the comments. Greg's workshop is checking in from Australia. Jeff Reynolds has updated his name on YouTube. I'm not sure what the link is. Drum kits. I'm not sure what that link is, but glad you're here, Jeff. And I'm not sure how to help out with kids interested or people interested in kids drum kits. I'm not sure about that one or what I can do. And you're transporting your wife from work to home between 8 and 9 p.m. Well, make sure she's listening too. And Jeff is here. Good. See, that's much easier. I see Jeff. I say Jeff. I like that. Jerry Tyler is checking in. And we have Robert Magny from Blanchard, Oklahoma. And RC Guy Garage. Yes, Joe Daddy has been released. That's that from RC Guy is in reference to my last day at work, and that was today. Yep. Hey, Randy. Thank you. Yep. Starting Saturday. Technically, you are correct. Start Saturday. And we have Jeff Perrine. I guess that's Perrine. But, today, after 90 days of being on leave of absence, I had to get up to an alarm clock because during my regular work time, my alarm would be set to about 4:50, 4:55 a.m. so that I could get up, get ready, and move forward to getting to work at 6 o'clock. And I did that. But my alarm didn't matter because I was awake before I ever got to the alarm. So anyway, so technically today, my retirement starts August 1st, but I was asked to come in today to turn in my ID and my parking decals and that sort of thing. And strange feeling. So let me back up here a second. Jeff says, read my message earlier about the video link. I don't know how to, that link doesn't show up very well here, Jeff. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's a YouTube link. I don't know how to make that work. So I see a bunch of, it says here's the link and there's a bunch of letters and numbers, but I don't know how to help you with that. Let's see. SimPilot 2018 checking in. Dave Conville checking in. Harvey checking in from New Jersey along with Dave. And SimPilot 2018, I am up at 2 every morning. Well, I'm sure there's a reason for that. I'm assuming to go to work. I'm assuming. My career has spanned midnight shift, second shift, day shift, 12-hour shifts, a whole variety of different times. And for the last, like I said, for the last 90 days, I haven't set an alarm. And usually for me, I'm a morning person anyway, as far as getting up and moving. And the sunlight hits the window and boom, I'm pretty much waking up. And that's just the way I've always been. It's really hard for me to wake up, roll around, and try to go back to sleep. I'm not good with that. So let's see. Tim, hey Barry, you did it. Congrats. You're gonna love retirement. I have so far. I sure hope so, Tim. I sure hope so. It's a big step, really, and I've talked about it before. I'm taking very early retirement. I'm counting on YouTube and those of you out there to help support the channel so that I can, continue to move on. And I think there's going to be I probably have a buffer of a couple years that I don't really have to worry about much. So in that time, I need to improve what I'm doing out here, improve my processes, and get the things moving quicker and more efficiently. So that's going to be the goal down the road. Brian, hello. I am in the back row making dust. Well, good. Sim pilot, I'm going. Retiring is going to take a little getting time. Nope. Retired 15 years. Yeah, I'll take a little getting. There's some words missing in there somewhere. So I worked every shift you can imagine. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, thank you, Sim Pilot. Jeff, I'm on the road. Can someone help Barry complete the full link from the info in my earlier messages? Well, I'm not sure what. It's not really showing much, Jeff. It's only showing like 12, a combination of 12 letters and numbers. So if it's like a YouTube link, it's not going to let you post it here. So we have to find a way around that. So if you have a YouTube channel and it's posted on your channel, that's different. But I think the way this system is designed, it won't let you just post a link. It kind of defeats it. So I don't know if there's something else that we can do, but that's kind of how this system works. Guido, congrats on your retirement. You're 53, as am I. You're off work. I am back at work. Start Tuesday after left wrist recovery. Well, I'm glad you're back at work, Guido. I know you have, 3 little ones at home, so you have more responsibilities than I do at this point. Mason Fox checking in. Okay, getting used to it. Yeah. So you're saying you've been retired for 15 years? That's awesome. That's really good. So typing too fast. Yeah, that happens a lot. Tim, I see nothing but good things for you going forward. You have very unique skills. Well, thank you, Tim. Thank you for that. Here's a bell. I'm really hoping, the channel has grown. In fact, I went back. Hold on just a second. I need some coffee. I had looked at my stats from a year ago. I wanted to kind of have a reference. And so I had posted on my own Facebook page that a year ago, I think I had 26,000 subscribers. And in that, time period, now it's almost 42. So not double, but that's okay. That's tremendous numbers. And my other channel, a year ago, I had 350 or 60, something like that. And now I have 2,200. So that's quadrupled. I don't know what the words are. Multiplied many times. Maybe not 10 times for sure, but multiplied many times. So tremendous improvement as far as subscribers and that sort of thing. And the variables now are where the views, my views were starting to really climb in March. And it may have been related to something I did with the Brooklyn Pony or something I did with Jade or a primer or paint video. I don't know. But the numbers were really climbing up in March. And then the COVID thing, whatever, hit, and man, it just dropped. And so it started to recover, and then it dropped again. So it's kind of like this crazy wave. And I know I need to be, I'm putting out, plenty of information. I'm putting out plenty of videos and doing this sort of thing, which is great for interacting. And, I just have to, keep improving, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Let's see, Mason. Hey, Joe Daddy's been garage. Now you hung up the old license plates. Cool. Good. Now you just need a full set, right? You got Georgia. Now you need the rest of the states. Yes, don't forget to hit that thumbs up for retirement. Yeah, that's a good call. Yep. So anyway, very kind of weird kind of day for me. I went into work, and the reality is I had taken off back in 2005 when I started the body shop. I took off from there, and I was gone for 15 months. So I have that feeling. And then they called me back after 15 months, and of course I went back. Now, this was a lot different because there's lots of people leaving. Put it that way. In my department, we have normally like 90 guys or 86 guys or something, and I think 30 of us took the retirement package. And so I went in there today not knowing who was going to be there or whatever. And a lot of the guys that I wanted to say goodbye to were already gone. They had left earlier in the week. So, I did find, friends and coworkers that I wanted to talk to. And I went around and said my goodbyes to them and wished them the best. And of course, they were the same. And really hoping that, things go smooth. And like I said, the channel continues to grow and don't have to worry about some stuff. Oh, RC Guy Garage, $4 super sticker. Thank you for that. And that's for my first cup of retirement coffee. Yeah. Well, I have this cup, but it's not the same. Thank you for that, Tim. And I'll point out, if you're interested in RC stuff, if you haven't, seen his stuff yet, go check out RC Guy Garage. He has way too many RC vehicles, and he's out thrashing on them and tearing them up and jumping them and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. So one of these days, I'm going to make a trip up there and try to break one of his RC cars for him. Hopefully, I can do that sometime in the near future, because now, sorry, my nose is itchy. I really don't have many restrictions, and that's a good thing. Robert Magny, I've been retired 2.5 years. Retirement is the best job I've ever had. I only had 2 jobs as an adult, both in the same field for 30 years total. Nice. Good for you, Robert. I guess technically, I was in the military, which it's not just a job, it's an adventure in the Army. But I did that for 3 years. And then before I went to school for aircraft maintenance, I worked at Kmart for 6 months just to fill time. And then did my studies at school, got hired, and I've had the same job for 29 years. So, there's some people that have done this same career for 40, 50 years. I didn't want to stay out there that long anyway, but I'm looking forward to the future for sure. Guido, how did your trans mount come out? Did you paint it? Not yet. The paint is supposed to be arriving today or tomorrow to steel it. I ordered a can of that, steel it, and we'll see how that goes. I got to wait for that to show up first. SimPilot, you can only do so much, so it is either going to be of interest to people or not. Yeah, that's true. That is true. And I think, at some point, I'm not saying people are getting tired of Brooklyn Pony, because I don't think they are. But I know, like I've said before, the bulk of my watched videos are more on the repair spectrum. The number one video I have out there is doing a fender repair on that little Nissan vehicle that my daughter backed into. And that thing's still doing great. Replacing a lug nut stud, that video's tops. And so those, and like doing brakes and stuff like that, those are all the really big views. But I need to get more of those out there as well, and keep people interested. Let's see. SimPilot, my interests are custom painting right now, and I'm in the process of transferring my garage. Well, good. And when you say custom painting, you talking like airbrush, something like that? Because I have interest in doing airbrush stuff. I do have a kit, I actually have a nice airbrush kit with a compressor and I think I have a compressor and everything. And then I also have another kit that is, I'd have to find it, but it's a pinstripe kit that actually uses paint and a roller. And I haven't used it in a long time, but that's another one that I want to get better at. Now I will point out I have sent out a link. I had somebody request to be on this live stream. Let me see where it's at. I forget who it was now, but I did. Let me see if I can find it. Derek. So Derek had sent me a request earlier, like last week, to be on a live stream. So if Derek, you're listening, I sent you a link to the StreamYard. And so we'll have to see if you can get on here. Oh, yeah, I got the super sticker. Rich, hello from UK. Hello to you. Guido, it's got to wait for the paint. So, I give myself a bell. Well, I just ordered it. I didn't really do anything special. Airbrushing and pinstriping. Yep. I really would love to be good at doing airbrush. I just haven't, it's that time thing. You start doing one thing and you get tied up. And I think for airbrush, you really have to dedicate training yourself and studying techniques and styles and all those sort of things. And that's my difficulty, is saying, you know what, I'm just going to set aside 2 hours of time here on this day, and I really have a struggle with that. Ricard checking in from Sweden. Glad you're here, Ricard. Sim Pilot, I had one of those rollers back in the 70s. It takes some getting used to. Yeah, this one, I bought this one at it was World of Wheels. They had a display going. And it wasn't just the pinstripe. I mean, it had, I think there was some sort of a magnetic roll that you could put on the side of a car and then follow the magnet, and it would just give you a roller. But this thing, you could do like flames. You could outline flames, make the curves, and it was pretty cool. But again, it's one of those things that I bought with good intentions, and it's in a box somewhere sitting. But otherwise, I think things are okay. Like I said, really weird to just hand over my ID badge today, and they escort me out to the parking lot. And the other unique thing I did was, I hired in 91, and at that point I had, they had uniforms. We were issued or ordered uniforms or whatever. And I've kept at least one set of every uniform that's been changed over the years, just because, it's one of those weird things. And uniquely enough, or oddly enough, the uniform that I wore in 1991, I wore to work today. Exact same uniform, no modifications, fit just like it did in 1991. I think I'm different about 2 pounds right now, in difference between then and now. So that turned a lot of heads. People were like, man, I've never seen one of those, or, I remember those from this time period and stuff like that. But I just thought, you know what? First uniform I ever wore and last uniform I ever wore. And I also learned something else today. As I was in there, and of course my job requires safety equipment, and one of those elements is safety shoes. So I don't wear safety shoes out here in the shop. I'm just not comfortable with doing that, because we all know safety shoes are good. They serve a purpose, but they can also be cumbersome and, not comfortable. Even the good ones made up from tennis shoes and stuff like that. Well, I have had really good safety equipment or safety shoes. And like I said, up until like 90 days ago, I was wearing those shoes to work and stuff like that. And, I've been going to a, chiropractor for years, trying to take care of myself, make adjustments. I only go once a month, get my adjustments made, and I feel good. Well, I haven't, since this COVID thing started, I haven't been to the chiropractor. But I also noticed I didn't need to go to the chiropractor. I wasn't feeling, certain things going wrong or feeling out of place. Well, I went to work today and I put on those same steel-toed safety shoes that I was always wearing. And within maybe 4 hours, lo and behold, I had back pain and I had knee pain, which I haven't had any knee trouble in quite some time. And I was like, you know what? The only thing I've done different is put on these stupid shoes. Well, they're going in the trash today. Bye-bye, steel-toed safety shoes. I wear my little, whatever they are, tennis shoes, my New Balance, and that's probably all I'm going to wear from now on. And it's, like I said, since I've been off and just wearing these tennis shoes, no back pain. So I'm going to be proactive and get rid of those. Okay, you've got Truck 1LT looking to prime the front end of my 65 Fastback to protect from flash rusting. The car isn't mobile. Most degreasers have to be washed off with a hose. Any suggestions that won't flood my garage? Not really. Without knowing the condition of the metal, obviously you want to get epoxy on it. We know that. If it's not been, I don't know if has it been blasted? Is the pieces have been blasted? Is that because I'm not sure exactly what's led it to be without paint, but if it's been blasted, then you can wipe it down. There's different types of like degreasers, what's the name of it? I have some stuff I've been using. It's a PPG product. I don't know where it's at, but those wipe down, paint prep type degreasers will work good, and they dry. You just hit them with a blow dryer. Nothing that I wouldn't use anything. It has to be, washed off like you're saying. But if you did that, but if it doesn't have any rust, that's one thing. But if it already has rust, then you're going to have to do something else, like go over it with a DA, knock all that stuff off, and then clean it again, and then get some epoxy on it. So it's really hard to tell without seeing it or knowing what condition, exactly what the status is. Brian, liked your video using the Black Widow. I just got the HDE. We'll let you know how it does if I ever get there. Well, yeah, let me know. Ricard, congratulations to your retirement. Well, thank you, Ricard. I'll give you a bell for that. It's like I said, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Jeff Young, hi from Canada. Watch your Dining Corner complete floor installation videos and ordered one for my 65 Fastback. It needs outside rockers too. Should have put the floor in first or the outside rockers? Well, good question. I'm assuming nothing's been cut out yet. If nothing's been cut out, I would probably do it like I did on a 65, the blue 65 car, where I leave the rockers in place and cut out everything else, get the floor in place, get it welded in, of course, and then replace the outer rockers. I think, to me, that's probably the best approach, because I trust the original placement of the outer rockers more than I trust fitting in the replacement ones, because there's kind of alignment points that you might want to, you kind of try to fight with. Now, granted, the outer rocker, you can, slide it a little bit fore and aft, whatever you need to do to get it in place. But for me, I would leave the rockers, leave the door openings, just like I did on that blue 65. Get that pan out of there and put the new one in. Just keep in mind also that if you're doing that, I don't know if you're planning on replacing the firewall. cowl and that sort of thing. The only conflict I had when I did that on that car was I could not put the firewall under the front edge of the replacement one, big floor pan. The reason I couldn't do that was because of the rotation you needed to get it to go under, and it was interfering with the frame rails and the aprons. So just keep that in mind as well. I don't know what all you're replacing, but just keep that in mind. But that's how I would do it. Leave the outer rockers. Too much negative camera on those Red Wings. Yeah. RJ checking in. Okay, so it was wire wheeled. All right. But it's getting flash rushed. Is that what you're saying? Because a lot of times when I do something like that, depending if I have the capability, I would rather do a fender at a time, and get it all sanded out, cleaned up, wire brush, whatever, wipe it down. You can wipe it down with lacquer thinner, just something to get it cleaned off and dry, and then get the epoxy on it. I don't want to typically wait for one fender to catch up with the other fender if I don't have to. I'd rather get them all, get this one done, set it aside, get this one done, set it aside, continue on from there. Dave, Jack, Debbie, and I had a guest in the shop, so just heard the official news. Congratulations on retirement. Thank you, Dave. It's different. Definitely different. There you go. Sim Pilot 2018 Pro Form Degreaser. Now I don't know what that is, but if that's like the stuff that I use, where you can just wipe it down and blow it with a hose and it evaporates, that sounds like a reasonable option. But I don't know where you get that or what's available to him. But that's I'll assume it's a good product. I don't know. Wait, give you a bell for that. Tim Bowman, Vader number 2002 wax and grease remover, waterborne. So there's another reference you can go with. RC Guy Garage, get a thumbs up. Yes, thank you, Tim. Jerry, congrats on retirement. Thank you. Thanks, Slim and Slim. Oh, maybe Sim and Tim. I'm guessing. Yeah, well, okay, there's a Slim and Tim. 73 Turbo Pinto. Crash on a big day. I'm into RC helicopters. I was VP of Pittsburgh Rotor Runners. Moving slowly on my projects, out working on one of the A-Stars. Cool. And you had some really cool stuff. I mean, those pictures you sent me were awesome. You really got I'm impressed by what, all the stuff that you've done and sent me pictures of. That was really, really cool. So I've never tried to fly like a real RC helicopter or an airplane. I've there's a little, RC truck over there. I'm pretty bad off at, I have this Scout Red Cat Generation 8, and this is the second controller because I accidentally threw my other one in the trash. It was apparently sitting on my bench right above the trash can, and when I was hitting something or knocking on something, it fell in, and I never noticed. So this one is from a guy on the RC Guy Garage Facebook page. He sent me this, so now I just have to, I guess, pair it or whatever, bind it. That's the word. Bind it to the to my Red Cat. So we'll see how that goes. Sim Pilot is saying PPG is that product, Proform Degreaser. Okay. Truck 1 LT, I installed new rails that are untreated metal and wire wheel the shock towers down the metal to check for cracks. I'm just worried about the heat and humidity causing flash rust. I understand that. Yeah, I mean, if it's all exposed and you can, and there's no rust yet, I mean, wipe it down with that evaporative degreaser, blow it off, blow everything out, get it all dried out, and then spray epoxy on it, and that should take care of it. G Mars, hi, for auto body metal patchwork, What diameter size wire do you use? 023 or 030? Could you give your settings on your welding machine? I use 023 for any kind of body sheet metal. Now, for my Miller-Matic, I mean not Miller-Matic, my Lincoln 140T, my settings would be, I know there's like 5 heat settings. I use B, which is the second heat setting, and then typically I'm right around 2 on my wire speed, maybe 1.8. You know, you can't really tell because it's got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just kind of get it close to the 2, and then I you know, just from natural feel of the welder, you know, I can say, oh, I'm just a little fast or a little slow, and then work on that. SimPilot, I should fire up my turbine. I used to be in RC here in Canada, but we have lost a lot of our fields. Oh, you have a turbine. That sounds interesting. I'd be scared to fly one of those things. I think I'd panic and lose control. Need to hit a self-destruct button or something. RC Guy Garage is pointing out that the guy that I got this from is Gus's Custom Creation. So is there a YouTube channel for him as well, Tim? I assume so, but I know he had some cool stuff on Facebook. So if he has one, then look it up. But shout out to Gus's Custom Creations for helping me out with that controller. I still need to bind it. The weird part is, you know, I don't have a great understanding of the RC process. I mean, I know you hit the switch and do this, whatever. And I understand the servos and all that stuff. But I was looking up how to pair this. And, you know, the instructions weren't overly complicated, but it was talking about using a certain port, putting in this little adapter wire connector thing, which I have, and then hitting certain buttons, whatever. So I started looking at it. I'm like, I don't have that port. So I apparently have to take it apart more, I guess, and get to that port. It must be internal to the receiver, and then go from there. But just haven't gone that far. SimPilot, get epoxy on these parts, guys. Don't let them sit. Yep, that's a bell. Got to get epoxy on. I don't know where Derek is. I'm pretty sure he's in Australia. So I don't know where he's at. I don't know if Greg from Greg's workshop wants to get on here or not. I know he's mentioned it before. I could send Greg a link, and we could go from there. Or even Tim could be on here if he wanted to. But I need to have an email. So let me see if I have Greg. I can send. Let me see here. Where's that? Guess it doesn't matter. So I'll send Greg a link just in case. See if he wants to be on. So I don't know where Derek's at. We'll have to skip around. Let's see. All right, so Gus's Custom Creations, right? So people can check out that channel, see if they're interested in seeing what Gus is building. Go ahead and give him a look. Truck 1LT, you can see my disaster of a car on Facebook, Rise of the 65. Okay, so if you want to go on Facebook and check out Rise of the 65, that might be interesting to see. So check that out too. Tim, have a great rest of your day, Barry. Got to go to my oldest granddaughter's graduation. See you next time around. We'll see you, Tim. We'll see you. Thanks for being here. And congrats to your granddaughter for graduating. Let's see. We got Maurice Needham. For plug welds, when setting up a welder for 2 different thicknesses of metal, ergo a floor pan and a frame rail, do you set the welder based on the thicker metal and hope not to melt in the floor pan? No, I kind of maintain the same settings, a 2 and 2. Like if I'm welding I want to weld the floor pan to the inner rocker, something like that, or to the floor support. I don't want to set the heat for the floor support or the inner rocker. That's too high. Because I'm welding to it, the welder doesn't know the difference. It doesn't care. So if you're trying to weld the light stuff to the heavy stuff, you could just burn away all that light stuff because it's just trying to generate heat for the heavy stuff. Now, you're still going to get a good weld if you focus towards the light side. And like if I do a plug weld, I will typically start on the edge of the circle. So if you can imagine like this circle, I would start on an edge. I don't start in the middle. I like to start on the edge and walk it all the way around and then roll it in and finish off in the center. That way I know that the edges are bound. Sometimes if you weld in the center and start walking out, the heat starts to generate and you could end up going, hesitating, and it's getting so hot that the outer metal is starting to melt away. So I'd rather start with a cooler temp and work my way into the center of the circle than work my way out. So I hope that makes sense. But like I said, I go with the keep it on the lower side. Marshall, here in Georgia with the humidity, bare metal rust almost overnight can get a little frustrating. Yep, I agree, and that's why I have the AC running. Let's see. 73, the red A-Star is up on 500 hours, had a chip light on the main gearbox, and A and AD notice on the compressor side like it. Oh, nice transmount fits. Well, thank you for that. You got some stuff to do on that project. Yeah, the training mount turned out really good. I'm really happy with it. I don't know if I'll ever do anything with the design or try to copyright. I don't know, but if somebody can make one and use it, good. As long as it helps out somebody else, I'm okay with that. SimPilot for plug welding, set up some test pieces and set your temp from there. Well, yeah, that's a good idea. Colin Stables, I'm getting spots of rust coming through the epoxy from welding spatter, I think. I'll wipe it or bare metal steel again to be safe. If you're getting rust through from weld spatter, that's not a good sign. No, that should be, is there moisture somehow getting in there? Because normally, if it's just from the weld, unless there's moisture involved, it may just be a burn spot rather than actual rust. So you might have, if you have moisture coming in, then that's more of a problem. I would probably go to bare metal. I would sand off any of those spots or the whole thing, get it all down to bare metal and start again. So you're welcome, Maurice. Ricard, what is that part on your welding table behind you? Oh, well, actually the welding table is over here right now with the this is just a dustpan, but I'm sure that's not what you're referring to. I'm building another another deer feeder for a friend of mine, and so I know it's hard to see, but this thing is made out of 1-inch square tubing. Has a center support in it, and the way it's going to work what it's supposed to work is half of a 55-gallon drum. It's going to fit inside of this. Of course, this will be sitting, so this is facing up. And then you have a top on it. I'm going to take the other half of the drum and mount it up on top so it sheds water. So that's the current little build project that I'm trying to put together. I actually need to have it probably done by tomorrow, but the bulk of it is done. I just need to build a carrier for the top, and that's just adding on a few pieces of steel. So that should be pretty easy. But pretty observant. Let's see. Or it's from the garage door open. Yeah, well, that's not good either. That's not either. Okay. Okay. So it was a dustpan. Yeah, well, good observation. But I thought you were talking about the deer feeder. So in fact, I did a on the other channel, the Joe Daddy's Workshop channel, I did a live stream during that build. I thought I would try it, see how it went. You know, people watched it. People were there. Jerry was there, a few other people. And, you know, sometimes, as some people said, they like to watch people work rather than work. And, you know, if there's things that I can do or people can see something that I do that may help them with their process, you know, or project, then it's all good. Because I can't always, I mean, I try to show as much as I can in the videos and get out all the details that I can, but there may be something that I do that's just inherently my process or my idea, and I don't think about it. I just do it and go, maybe this will help someone. I don't. Sometimes I do stuff that I don't realize it should be shown or something like that. Let's see. Okay. Oh, I'm going to point this out too. I'm working on getting more hats made right now. And in fact, I'm going back and forth. I found another supplier, vendor, whatever, that I can get probably at least as good a hat, if not better, and more hat color choices. So I had posted on the Facebook page asking for input for color choices. And I'm probably going to do a bulk order of like maybe 60 hats. And these, with this other vendor, I can actually drop the price. So more people will be able to buy hats at a lower price. And at this point, I'm going to, you know, do like 12 black. And I'm going to do probably, even though this is nasty, 12 OD green. I think I'm going to do 12 blue, 12 kind of red, and 12 in a kind of a burnt orange, I think, will be the choices. So if anybody's interested or has any input as far as colors, by all means, let me know. But I think that's what I'm going to be doing here very soon, is getting fresh mock-ups to look at. SimPilot, maybe do a short plug weld demo and show your process. Yeah, I could do that. I think I've shown it. Oh, like you're saying though, the filters. Yeah, I see that now. Yeah, my camera does not have the right filters. I've tried that before. I've tried to look at other people's welding type videos and see what they use, because I've tried to use like a regular, you know, green filter that we know on a welding hood and try to set it up, but it just doesn't seem to do the same. So I probably just need to do some more research on that and figure it out. A better way to approach that. Eric, love the 10th Mountain Division flag. Were you assigned to them? Yes, I was. If you don't, well, apparently you know the history or have at least heard of the 10th Mountain, if nothing else. They were created in, you know, for World War II, deactivated sometime after that. And then in 1985, they decided they needed to have a mountain division back in the service. And so they reactivated the 10th Mountain Division in 1985. And I was in the original 2nd Battalion, 14th Infantry Regiment when they first reactivated. I was in the first full infantry unit, no support, unit or nothing. It was just, light infantry unit. So I was there in '85 when they activated. Clark, do you ever decide what to do with the garage sign issue? Not yet. I do have the tarps, and I was researching or wanting to research because I got to thinking about it a little bit, and I'm sure there's a tool out there. But I was thinking I'm going to be running in 18 of these eye bolts. I was like, I really don't want to sit there with my hand and try to turn these in. And I'm sure there's a tool. I'm sure there's already a tool made for this. But I thought about the idea of, what if I took an old socket, cut a slot in it, and then put it on my cordless, drill and just run them up with a socket, make a little, split socket that'll hold this. So that's kind of where I'm at the moment. That, and last week I had family here, and so that kind of tied up some things. And so I have not done anything just yet. I've been considering other ideas, but I think short term, the easiest idea is putting up those tarps and working from there. So we'll see how that goes. And when I get it up, I'll do an update and let you know. Robert, Barry, do you recommend using polyester spray fillers? I'm really having trouble with certain panels getting them straight. I emailed you quite a few pictures of my Dodge truck. Yes, I saw those pictures. I'm on the fence on the polyester spray fillers. I think I don't know what they call it now, but it used to be called like Feather Fill. I think was one company or one brand. We use some of that at the body shop on occasion. I used it on my dune buggy, and it worked. But we used some on like a truck hood, and it didn't work. It ended up cracking because there was enough flexibility in the hood that it separated. It would not adhere. So there are times where it's really good. I guess it comes down to what are you doing with the vehicle. Like if you're going to be out really using the vehicle and where it's going to get road vibrations, stuff like that, that could affect it. But some people have had great luck with it. But I'm not 100% convinced. I've seen it work good in some places, but not good in others. The curve portions are really giving you issues. Yeah. Well, that's where it takes some really good finesse. I can tell you that. Really self-control, because as I've said before in every one of my block sanding type of videos, once you see metal, stop. You can't improve anything if you keep sanding when you see metal. You can't, it's not going to get any better. And that's where a lot of people, they can't quite get that, because they may see metal, but they see low areas, and in their mind are going, I need to sand out those low areas. But really all you're doing is creating a newer low area. Like if it had texturing or stuff in it. See metal, stop, clean it all up, add more filler, go again. That's all I can say on that. But I understand where you're coming from. All the curves and stuff are always a challenge. Truck 1LT. I have new time for live videos. Well, I'm gonna just focus on doing the Monday and Thursday. I feel like that's pretty well covers the week. But you never know. I know RC Guy Garage, he does one every morning, and I think he started doing them at night now too, like twice a day. But he does some cool stuff with the RC stuff. Hello from Sammy Lisa Smith. Glad you're here. Clark, my father and his military career in the 250th Signal used to go to drum and support you guys. Yeah, well, what's fun or funny about that is the original infantry group, 2nd Battalion, 14th Infantry Regiment, activated at Fort Benning, and we stayed there for 3 years. And that's a little part of the 10th Mountain history that doesn't get played up. It's almost like they forgot about us, because Fort Drum was built up to support or house 10th Mountain Division. Well, they weren't ready for us, so they just left us at Fort Benning, In fact, we stayed on Sand Hill, which was a training battalion. And we stayed in a training battalion, and that became the first home for 214 and 314, which was about 3 to 5 months, I think, behind us on the timeline. So I made it to drum, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. I went up there for a reunion with some buddies and spent a few days up there. That was a lot of fun. Simpilot, I think what I found is that folks are having a hard time with the process of metal prep for painting. There are so many products out there that it may be confusing. Yes, I agree. It's always confusing. And I don't know why. I mean, well, obviously everybody's trying to get their piece of the market. And, you know, it is tough. I've used a variety of products, and, you know, some people have taken my advice on them. Some haven't. But yes, there's a lot of stuff out there. Use a drill with a chuck, no socket needed. Well, I'm not sure, because the chuck only has three jaws on it. It's going to offset the center. I mean, it'd probably work. I was just trying to keep it nice and straight. But I don't know if it'll hold in that chuck that I have. I've got a 3-jaw chuck on my DeWalt. I don't know if that's enough. Yeah, some don't know surface primer and sealer. Yeah, and that's, you know, it's so tough to try to give information because there may be products available that aren't in the same family as what you're using. So typically, like I said, I use PPG products, so I try to stay mostly with PPG stuff. I did stray off and use epoxy primer from Summit. I don't think it's going to cause any issues. It's pretty good stuff, but yeah, there's lots of variables out there. I've run into issues even trying to use sealer myself, to where it's affected things. So, and there are a lot of variables come into play, like even the you know, temperature and heat and all that sort of stuff. So, Maurice, I am restoring a 60 Mustang. You've been very helpful. Thank you. Would you replace frame rails before trunk floors, or floors before rails? Does it matter? I'm worried about frame rail alignment. If you're talking about like the rear frame rails, that's a good question. Depends on what your capabilities are, because to access the frame rails, I mean, I have not actually done a rear frame rail by itself, but I know you have to have access to the mount points. So some of that involves removing metal, you know, getting sheet metal out of the way. What I like to do when I'm kind of in that situation is get the car in a fixed location and try to come up with some sort of a jig system to where I know this car sitting at this point with these kind of measurements, so it's sitting level and stuff like that. And then I can do some drop measurements from kind of known points on the frame rail. And whenever I pull that old one out, if I'm just doing like a frame rail by itself, then I can piece the new one back in, get it in place, and I can double check those measurements to make sure it's in place. So I would rather do the frame rails, I believe, first, if you can access them and get everything out. Because if you're doing the floor pans, the trunk transition pan or anything like that, if it's off slightly, then you could run the risk of having your frame rail off slightly, if that makes sense. You can massage the floor pan or the sheet metal more than you can massage a frame rail. So think of it that way. Take what you have, get the most rigid point fixed and solid, and then work up from there. Typically, that's how I would approach it. Yep, you're welcome, Tim. Brian, if a guy has areas on bare metal that need a little filler, do you do the filler work and blocking and then epoxy prime? Then 2X, I found epoxy primer to be a pain to sand. Yeah, epoxy is really tough to sand. But I would prefer, if a guy has areas of bare metal that need a little filler. Okay, just know this. epoxy primer is meant to go to bare metal. That's its purpose in life. You can use it in other ways. You can use it on top of things, but its purpose in life is to bond to bare metal and act as a support. Normally, what I like to do, if I can, is put epoxy on, depending on where I'm at in the project. But go to bare metal, spray it with epoxy, and then work your way out. If you hit bare metal again, at that point, depending on your product line, and again, this gets difficult, you can touch stuff up with some self-edge. And sometimes, but again, it depends on the product. Some of them don't react well. So you got to kind of think of it that way. If your panel is in good shape and it's been sanded, bare metal, epoxied, and you're working it out, and you hit some, you knock off some paint or primer, good filler like the Rage Ultra that I use is meant to go to bare metal as well. So that's another variable. So ideally you want epoxy, but if you've already got epoxy and you've sanded through and it's deep enough that you can apply filler to fill that in, I would, I'm comfortable doing filler and then sanding that out. So that's kind of, I hope that makes sense. But yeah, you're right. Epoxy is very tough to sand. But if you can get by with a little filler, then I think you'll be okay. And then you can shoot more epoxy on it if you want. It's not going to hurt anything. And then go to the 2K. Jerry, I build polyester primer, easy to sand block, keep using as spray coat between sanding to find the low spots. Okay. Yeah, it does sand pretty well. All right. Mike Anderson, I just found your page and started following you. Let me get you a good bell for that. There you go. Nice ring to it. Well, thank you, Mike. I'm glad you're here. Jerry, you can use the 8-point socket. It'll work and not fly off the round eye. Okay. Thank you, Jerry. There we go. I'll give that a shot. Let's see. Mike Anderson, I love it. You show everything, including mistakes and each step, many videos. Skip steps to save time on videos. Yep. That's, that's kind of, I don't know. I get what's MO, mode of operation. I figure, I used to do videos long ago where I would just kind of point at stuff and talk about it and fix it, and then point at stuff and talk about it and fix it, and not show the process or anything like that. And I've learned over time that people want to see the tools in use. They want to see, techniques and, all that sort of thing. And I used to get worried about having videos that were too long. If it went over 10 or 12 minutes, I thought nobody's going to want to watch this. Well, on my style of videos, the reality is people are like, make it longer. Make it longer. They want it like kind of like a TV show. So I've had many videos that are 40 minutes, 45, an hour, some that are over an hour long, and I don't seem to get any complaints. So, okay. So Ricard, let me get Ricard. He sent me all right. Send Ricard a link. See how he's doing in Sweden. All right. So I sent you a link, Ricard. Karsten checking in from Denmark, I believe. Sammy Lisa Smith, self-etching primer and Evercoat. Yeah, I mean, the Rage is what I use. I've had good luck with it. It seems to hold up and do what it's supposed to do, not give me any trouble. We're waiting for Ricard. I was thinking there was something else I wanted to mention. Yeah, for those of you, if you're following me on the Facebook page, I left a picture or a link to the hat that I was talking about. So if you want to, point to a hat or whatever and say, I like this color or that color. But at this point, I think those are the 5 choices I'm going to pick is the black, OD green, blue, kind of a red, and burnt orange. So I think those are my choices. Okay, we've got Ricard checking in from Sweden. There he is.
Hello.
How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. How about you?
Good. I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah,
What's new?
Congratulations to your retirement.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. So what's new with you and your project?
Well, I've been taking out stuff. I removed the lower dash to get to the heater box and to clean up the firewall. I don't want to have the insulation and interior there when I do the welding. When the rear aprons to weld them to the firewall, I didn't want to have anything there, so I cleaned it all out.
Good choice.
I did some welding on the car a while ago, or 2-3 years ago, and it actually caught on fire behind the sail panel on one side, and I actually had to call the fire department. But I managed to stop it before they came. But what's a scary moment? It's interesting how fast the fire will spread and how difficult it can be to stop it.
Well, let me tell you a quick story. I had a friend of mine who had a '69 Camaro. I had a '69 Camaro as well. His was opposite of mine. Mine was Hugger orange with black stripes. His was Hugger orange with white stripes. Same car though. He asked me to weld something. I don't even remember what it was. Weld something in the trunk. I don't remember. I had cardboard. I had stuff in there. I was welding. I looked up. The back seat is on fire.
Mm-hmm.
So the material was burning. Yeah. And this car was done. This was a nice, pretty car. Thankfully, I had a fire extinguisher here, and I just laid into it, and it put it out. And then I just started tearing the car apart as fast as I could. Thankfully, it didn't do any serious damage. It was just a pretty scary moment, though.
It's hard to tell, but on that shelf in the corner is the used fire extinguisher.
Yeah.
And I was doing about the same as you. I was welding in the trunk. And I had cardboard, or I have these actually welding mats,
yes,
like fiberglass or whatever it is. And I had covered everything, I thought. But you know how the sparks, they jump, and it jumped. So the car, there's you can't see.
Yeah.
But in the back there's the rear brace going across that the fuel tank is bolted on.
Yeah.
So it was all the way there. I had the fuel tank taken out, and I was actually sitting there in the trunk through the hole where the gas tank is.
Yeah.
And the stupid spark, it flew all the way. It was on the other side, but it was burning behind the sail panel, like up here.
That's scary.
I still to this day can't figure out how that stupid thing, that spark would have jumped to get there.
Yeah.
But it did.
Yeah.
And
well, here's a question for you. Jerry wants to know, how hard is it to get parts in Sweden?
Very easy. There are Swedish vendors who will import from the US, but most often I order parts directly from the States myself. Even though you have to pay shipping and duty, it's still cheaper than to buy from Swedish vendors.
Really?
I buy from the Swedish vendors when I'm in a hurry.
Okay.
But right now I have an order pending for the insulation on the firewall. I had hoped to be able to use the original one, but it's just falling apart. I can't touch it. It's coming apart. So I ordered that a few days ago.
Well,
from it's a place called Missouri Mustang.
Oh, okay.
They've been very good. They're reasonable on shipping, and they're like CJ Pony Parts or all the others. But It works very good.
Good.
And we can order from Summit Racing or NPD, or I don't know if I'm allowed to mention all these companies on your show here.
Yeah. I mean, I use them.
Yeah, so the parts are no problem.
Well, good. Well, good. So when do you think you're going to get the frame rails and aprons all welded in?
Actually, it's getting close now, and I was thinking I should show you something here. I'm on my computer, so it's kind of
Okay.
turn. So, but in preparation for that job to be done, so it's just mocked up. I'm pretty much done the mocking up, and it's time to weld them in.
Time to weld. Yeah.
It is. It is. But I made because my garage is in the basement in our house. So you see that hose?
Yeah, I see that now.
So that's actually, let's see if I can point here.
Yeah.
Over here is a kitchen fan.
Okay.
And this is a ventilation hose to suck out the smoke when I'm welding.
Yeah. Well, you got to be creative.
Yeah, and then I always go cheap. So we redid the kitchen a while ago. And I saved the old fan. I tried it. It works awesome, and so I'm happy with that.
I'm happy with that. There you go.
And what else was I doing? Yeah, so I took the car is a sad sight without the lower dash.
Okay.
I don't know if you can see that. Sorry for the jumping.
That's okay. Oh yeah, you got it all taken apart.
Yeah, I'm waiting till I get the new insulation pad there until I take the old one out.
Okay.
I do that with all the parts that I take off. I always want the new one to come in first. I can see that's the correct one, and then I can compare it to the old stuff as I take it out.
Yeah. Yep.
It's a little jerky there, but
that's a good call.
And so since I took it out, I restored the heater box. Because that's a pain to get that one out. So now that the lower dash is removed, it's easy to work on.
What's in the corner?
There's the fan. I had it all taken apart.
Oh,
there
okay.
are some insulation pads and stuff in there.
It looked like there was a piece of machinery behind your heater box. It was like an upright.
Yeah, I'm a workshop mechanic.
Oh, okay.
That's why
it's a Bridgeport? Oh, no, I lost you. I lost him.
The internet is crappy in my garage here.
So is that like a Bridgeport machine?
It's similar to a Bridgeport, yes.
Okay.
It's Bridgeport. Here in Europe, they sell them as Optimum, I think, and this one is called something else. It's a Chinese copy.
Hey, if it works.
It works, and I trimmed. I don't know the terminology in English, but you can trim it in so that it's all square, and
yes,
also for the table for it to be firm, and it's very stiff. There's no vibration, and I can do good milling work in it.
Well, good. Yeah, machining is a good skill to have.
Yeah, I was a trained workshop mechanic. I worked in the workshop for a couple of years, but I never enjoyed working with it like a full-time job. But the skills I acquired They're invaluable, and I really enjoy working with metal, but on my own terms, not
Right.
here, make this part. Or
So when you say workshop mechanic, would that be the same here in the U.S. as like a machine shop?
yeah,
Is that
a machine shop.
okay.
So I work at a factory here in Finspång in Sweden, where I live. We've been manufacturing turbines since 1913.
Wow.
Well, it's a huge workshop, and originally we were making steam turbines, but now it's mainly gas turbines. And it's a fairly big plant. It's around 3,000 employees.
Wow. And that's for power generation.
Power generation, yes, gas turbines, and steam turbines as well for power generation.
Nice. Yeah, that's a good
We
job.
have quite a few in the States, actually. I was working for 7 years. I was working as a sales manager, and I traveled the States to visit all the plants with the turbines that came from here. And
Okay.
I think we have around 100 plants. Most likely some plant around where you are there.
Probably.
With a turbine from our factory.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sure there's many right now.
Yeah.
I know that now would these are only you said there's a gas turbine and they had steam, but is this in any relation to wind power at all?
The wind power is pretty much a propeller connected
Right.
to a generator, and Siemens, we do have wind power, but that doesn't come from our plant.
Okay.
There are huge plants in Denmark manufacturing windmills or the wind turbine. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I know I was just trying to think because you can, gas turbine, obviously we know it's fueled to generate power, and you have a water system, and then inverse of that is, the water generates power by turning the turbine. So it's kind of a reverse process. But I didn't know if they went in multiple directions with the equipment.
Typically, a gas turbine and steam turbine can be mated, because you run the gas turbine on fuel. Like you say, it's like any turbine, like an airplane motor. Although a turbine in a helicopter, it's all the same principle.
Right.
And then you can mate it to go in combined cycle with a steam turbine. So you use the hot gases, the exhaust gases from the gas turbine,
right,
to heat up steam and run the steam turbine on that heat.
Yeah. Kind of get more bang for your buck.
Yeah, you can make them extremely fuel efficient. And in Sweden, it's very popular to have, I think it would be called distributed heating, or where the municipal have a power plant that will produce electricity, and they will also produce heated water that's dug into the ground and distributed to more or less the whole town.
Okay.
Where you get heat for your house, and then you get hot water. And a plant like that, the efficiency is well over 90% fuel efficiency for what you put in. You get out over 90%.
That's impressive.
It's very impressive. A car, for instance, I don't know the fuel.
I think it's usually about 30%.
Yeah, at the most. So these plants are really very efficient.
Yes. But if you have an old Mustang like yours, it's probably more around 12%. If you're lucky.
But I'm calling it, with all the green movement and environmentally friendly cars. So I typically say my Mustang is the most environmentally friendly car you can ever have, because I drive it so little, and it's over 50 years old now. So that must be the most efficient way of using.
And that's one thing they talk about with the electric cars and all the carbon footprint and all that sort of thing, people don't realize how much it takes to make the electric car and how much energy it takes to make the process and how much contamination and all these different things. They don't realize all that. And they point out that driving, like I have a car, it's a 2000 model Ford Focus, 240,000 miles on it. It actually, the carbon footprint gets smaller every time I drive it because it's extended time. It's not it already exists. It's not another car being created for somebody to buy and keep driving. So that's good. That's kind of how they operate it. Looks like you locked up on me. You froze on me, Ricard. I'll give you 1 second. I'm gonna have to pull you off. All right. I'm gonna pull him off for just a minute. He froze. And we have Maurice. I used to buy parts from U.S. suppliers and ship them to Ireland. After shipping and duties are added, it made the part more than double the cost, unfortunately. Now I live in Canada, so no problem. Oh, there we go. Ricard's back. He's moving again.
Oh, yeah.
You were frozen for a second there.
Yeah, you froze too there. So I think it's my internet in the basement here. It's not the best.
Yeah, that's okay. Well,
I'm as close to the router as I could possibly be.
Well, the next thing is getting one of these. Having your Ethernet cable. That's what I've done, and even at that, at times it doesn't work out as well as I hope. But it is definitely an improvement. So.
But the only time I really need it is when I go on your show.
Well, that's true. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna run this past an hour and a half today. It's an hour and 18 minutes, so we've got about 12 minutes left. So if everything's good on your end,
sure.
I'll pull you off. But I'm glad you were here and giving me an update, and I'm looking forward to seeing stuff welded together.
It will. Suddenly it happens.
Okay. All right. Well, glad to have you here, and we'll talk to you later.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. See you.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. So I was glad to have Ricard on here. It's nice to have input from different parts and different, parts of the world and different people and see what they're doing and what they're working on. If you haven't seen already, Ricard he had one of the Viewers Project videos, so you can go back and look at one of those. I'm still having trouble. I know Jerry's been on here. I don't know what to do with Jerry's. I've tried several times to download his videos, and I'm at a loss at the moment. So I haven't really, and I've been tied up with, like I said, family stuff and different things. So I haven't been able to really dig into it very hard. Jeff is checking back in. Apparently his wife wants him to listen to her instead. Now he's listening and viewing you and Scandinavian. No, he's Swedish. Ricard is from Sweden, but I'm assuming they sound very similar. I don't know. And Jeff is cooking dinner. Well, good. You need to do that, Jeff. And hopefully, well, I guess I don't know what part of the what your timeline is. Again, I know it's evening, if I remember correctly. Yep. Thumbs up from Rick. Thank you, Rick. And Jeff, I like input from another part of the world. Yes. I mean, it's, I was hoping, I don't know what happened to the other guy, Derek. I don't know where he went, but I was hoping to have him on here today, and I guess it just didn't work out. That's okay. We had Ricard, and I sent Greg a request as well, but again, it didn't work out. So maybe we'll get Jeff on here one day. Maybe he could do this too. And Sammy, Lisa Smith, have a very nice night. Thank you, YouTube. And 9:20 here in Barking. That's good, man. That's late for dinner. That's late for dinner. 9:20. Whew. I'm ready for bed by that time. 9:20. What are you cooking? What are you cooking, Jeff? Yeah, Jerry, I'm not sure exactly what's going on. I don't know that the file is corrupt. If anybody has any more input, Jerry has sent me some videos, and the app, I don't know if it was just the way that the program worked, but it was processed through WinRAR, which is a zip file. And I tried to use WinRAR to download the files. I could look at them on Dropbox. I could see the videos, but I need some other input, because I don't know how to get those videos from the zip file, because it comes up and says error or something, blah, 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 cannot find. I don't know. So if anybody has any insight or input on how we could pull those out, that would be very helpful. And if you have a step-by-step process, if you want to email me or something, that would be great. Let me know. There's my email at the bottom of the screen. Like I said, I'm not going to let this. I'm going to stop at a hour and a half today. That'll be the end of this broadcast. So Clark Clifford bought a 68 coupe, nowhere to work on it, but I guess I'm committed. Good. You know, you say nowhere to work on it, but apparently you got it home, I would guess. I've followed a few times. I haven't seen him in a while. I can't think of the name at the moment. A young guy, he was building his 65 in his driveway. I mean, like cutting off panels and welding stuff on. He was in Texas, and I can't think of the name right now. So there are ways to get around, that. You can put up a tent. I know Jorge Lopez in New Jersey, he has one of those kind of a temporary tent right next to a shop that he has. And so he was able to put it underneath that, one of the cars underneath that. Parked at the gas station down the street. So how are you going to work on it? You have a 2-car garage that you can maybe clean out one side or something. One way or another, you'll find a way. I'm sure of that. Because they say if there's a will, there's a way. And, if you want it done, you'll find a way. Anyway, like I said, it's been a strange day for me. 29 years, last day of work, or technically last day. Yeah, you'll figure it out, Cliff. That's how it always is. Find a way. Figure it out. Adapt, overcome, right? Conquer. Anyway, yeah, it's just been kind of a weird kind of feeling, especially whenever you have a lot of people leaving at the same time. Normally at the company there would have been like, cake and coffee and even a steak dinner and stuff like that. They would really treat us well for the retirement. And with so many people leaving and the whole COVID thing, they're like, well, we're not taking any chances. So everything was canceled. There was no cake, no coffee, no dinners. Normally there's, like, if a single person were to retire, they would, make plaques for them and have special this and that and the other and whatever. But pretty much the bulk of us didn't get anything out of that. And, it's a little disheartening, but it's also, I understand, because of the vast numbers of people that are leaving the company, it'd be really hard to make that happen and pull it off. So I think the rumor has it that they may try to do some sort of a dinner next year, maybe, but I don't know. And again, it's not like I'm going to lose sleep over it. I like steak dinners. I can tell you that. But it is what it is. So, yep. Well, technically, Jeff, my retirement will start August 1st. But they wanted me to come in today, and I turned in my ID and my parking decals. Before I did it, I walked around and met people that I knew or people that were still there that I knew. And a lot of my coworkers and friends had already departed like this week. And anyway, so I walked around and met friends and said goodbye and turned in my stuff. And then they escorted me out the building because that's the policy. They don't just turn you loose. So, yep, it is what it is. And now the focus again is here. And I've got to, make things happen. And if I have to make changes, I'll make changes, but I'm going to rely on whatever income I can get from YouTube, from Amazon, from Patreon, from work that I do, all that sort of thing to help with the process. And since I'm talking about that, I'm going to bring it up again. If you're buying stuff off of Amazon anyway, I've said it before and I'll say it again, go to your Amazon, fill up your cart with whatever, go to my YouTube channel, and up here in the corner of the banner will be a little link that says Amazon or has a little A on it. You click on that and then go process your cart, and I will get a little percentage of that. And it doesn't have to be the stuff that I have listed on my page. It could be anything. You buy a hair dryer or toilet paper or whatever. Any little thing like that helps out. If anybody is interested in becoming a patron on a Patreon program, again, in the corner of my banner up here in the top is a Patreon link. You can follow steps for that. I have 2 different levels that I have actually made on there, like $3 and $5 a month. But that's, those are just options. I actually have some people that have signed up for $30 a month, and I'm not, saying, hey, go do this. I'm just letting you know these are some options. So, if you're interested, fine. If not, that's okay too. I'm going to still make videos. I'm still going to make this happen and, try to be as productive as I can. Akron 72, crashed on your retirement. Thank you. Barry, we have a virtual party with you on the next live feed. I'm not sure how I'd pull that off. Do I have like little streamers hanging and the poppers and stuff like that all over? Yeah. I actually had thought about doing a more, not a live stream, but like a regular video with letting everybody know this is my status, this is what I'm doing, and just kind of do something like that. That might be a good idea to pull that off and just share information. So, the film club can wait another week, can it? Yeah. Well, we didn't select a movie, to watch. We had 2 weeks ago. We had Duel, and I watched that dubbed in Italian on YouTube. So I don't know we didn't pick a movie, so we're kind of behind schedule anyway. Yep, the focus is here in the shop and on YouTube. So that's the plan. And I have about 30 seconds left, and I'm going to call it a day and move on. So Brian, congrats on retirement. See you next time. Thank you, Brian. And yeah, streamers the whole 9 yards. Streamers, the whole 9 yards. Well, but that was we haven't discussed that, so it would be out of sync on the next stream. Anyway, this time's up. I'm glad you all were here. Thank you for the support. Throw a thumbs up on the video or videos, comments, all those things that help with the channel and help things grow and make it a better place. I have one final question. What is your favorite Ford engine? I don't know that I have a favorite Ford engine, honestly. I like the simplicity of a 302. I just do. I don't need some big monster 427, 428. I just like the simplicity of a 302 with a nice cam in it. drivability, you know, that's kind of where I'm at. So anyway, we're gonna call it a day, and let me pull that off of there, and we'll see you on Monday at 7 p.m. So be there.